The chair recognizes the gentlewoman from Texas, Ms. Jackson Lee, for 5 minutes.
Deputy Attorney General, thank you, welcome, and thank you for your service to the nation. Allow me just for a moment as I move on my questions to indicate that I am shocked and baffled the way some in the right-wing media and some of our friends on the other side show such contempt for the Department of Justice and the FBI and so much skepticism or mistrust of the Russian government. Let me briefly review for the record. The FBI and DOJ brought to justice and put away Timothy McVeigh, domestic terrorist who killed 168 Americans, Klansmen who murdered civil rights workers Goodman, Cheney, and Swerner, the Unabomber, terrorists who bombed U.S. embassies in Kenya and Tanzania, organized crime family kingpins, the murderer who assassinated Medgar Evers, Pan Am 103 bombing, Soviet diplomat that had a spy ring during World War II, Aldra Ames, Richard Hansen, Alger Hiss, and others for espionage, World Trade Center bombing in 1993, TWA 847 hijacking, Lindbergh kidnapping, Beltway snipers, Klansmen who killed 4 little girls in the 16th Street church in Birmingham. And of course, on the other hand, the Russians are known for shooting down a civilian airline, KAL-007, killing 269 passengers and crew, annexing Crimea and invading Ukraine, killing journalists, propping up Assad, the butcher of Damascus, building the Berlin Wall, imposing an Iron Curtain against freedom, and committing cyber theft and conspiring and doing a sabotage of the American presidential election in 2016. Perhaps our friends on the other side of the aisle can show more respect for the FBI and the DOJ, as so many of us do, including myself. So let me ask these questions, and with my limited time, I really need just a yes or no. Are you in the business of helping to secure the elections in 2018 and making sure that there is an infrastructure in the DOJ to help states have secure elections? Yes or no?
Yes.
Special Counsel Mueller, I'm reminded, some of us would say we read it in the history books, of the Saturday Night Massacre. I know you must be aware of it. During the meeting of May 8, 2017 with you, Sessions, and the President, the day before Comey was fired, what did you discuss regarding the FBI investigation?
Congresswoman, as I've explained previously, I'm not going to be discussing anything related to that until after the investigation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Deputy Attorney General. Let me then go forward with the question of the protection of the special prosecutor. Do you have in place a protection scheme or system that would void a potential Saturday Night Massacre? Do you, in fact, have the authority to stand up against the president who is putting out the right-wing media to taint the Mueller investigation? Will you protect Mr. Mueller if he deserves the protection and has done nothing to violate his duties and responsibilities?
As I've explained, if he hasn't violated his duties...
Yes or no, Mr. Deputy Attorney General?
I won't take any action unless he's violated his duties.
Let me show you these individuals here. It says that the Trump accusers want a day in court, or at least want to be heard. The president is the chief executive and law enforcement officer of the United States. Therefore, he is an officer of the United States. What does the Department of Justice, what intentions do you have to allow these women who are accusing the president of sexual misconduct and have never been heard in terms of a public setting, as many of us on this committee, women on this committee, Democratic women on this committee, have asked for this committee to hold a hearing with these women? What does the Department of Justice intend to do in light of the fact that the president is the chief law enforcement officer of the United States of America?
I don't think I have any position on that, Congresswoman. If they file a lawsuit, they're free to do so. It wouldn't be a department matter.
Would you not believe that it's important to give these women a forum to be heard? The Department of Justice, the FBI investigates. I just gave a long litany of the great successes of the Department of Justice.
If there's anything that warrants federal investigation, Congresswoman, we'd certainly look at it.
So can I refer these women? Can we refer these women to the Department of Justice? If they walked up to the Department of Justice, would there be an intake officer, an FBI officer that would take their complaints?
If somebody wants to file a complaint of a potential federal crime, yes, they can report that to the FBI, or they can write. Anybody can do that at any time. And many
well, then let me publicly say to these women, you have one option at this time, is to go to the Department of Justice, as the Deputy Attorney General has just said to us, to be able to file a complaint, and I would encourage them to do that. I would also encourage this hearing as well to do this committee to have hearings. Let me ask this last question regarding the whole question of commutation program of President Obama, and of course the memo by Attorney General Sessions that rescinds memos regarding the charging and sentencing policy, and also the use of private prisons. That was by Eric Holder. What is the position of the U.S. Department of Justice as it relates to a fair and just commutation program, and also the issues dealing with over-prosecution and the sentencing policy that was offered by Eric Holder, which was considered fair and just, and the use of private prisons have been known to be abusive to prisoners and do not allow FOIA requests to go forward? What is your position on that?
Time of the gentleman has expired. The Deputy Attorney General may answer the question.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman. You've raised a number of issues, Congresswoman. I don't know that I have time to respond to them all, but I do just want to clarify, anybody is free to report to the Department of Justice when they believe a crime is committed. It's not a complaint in the way that you might file a complaint in some local police departments. You're free to report any allegations, and the department will conduct appropriate review, as we do with any allegations of alleged criminal conduct. We initiate investigations, though, only if we determine there's proper predication under our policies.
Well,
Thank you.
I'm yielding back, Mr. Chairman, but he did not answer my question.
The time of the gentleman has already expired.